Hello, 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 and good evening, everyone. Come on into the craft room. This is your girl, Caron. I am your ATX Stampin' Lady, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I am here with you today to get to having, oh, y'all, I did not bring my eyes up in here. We're going to have a hard time today. We are gonna so have a hard time today, but we're going to wing it because that's just how we do it, right? So, thank you guys for joining me today. I am Caron Bailey. I am your independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up here in the wet, overcast, and cloudy Austin, Texas. Actually, it's not even cloudy. It is raining here in Austin, Texas. And I'm excited to be with you here on this Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday. But I am bringing you Technique Tuesday. Sorry, guys, I was supposed to go live with you guys yesterday. Unfortunately, life happened. I didn't put an event on my calendar that I needed to make sure that I was aware of, and I forgot about it. And then I got a reminder through Facebook that said, hey, don't forget you have X, Y, and Z happening. So I had to go attend that and participate in that training. Anyway, the other thing that was happening in my life, guys, look at this book. Oh, look at this book. This is my last class, absolute final class on my quest for my advanced certificate as a paralegal. And it's for advanced legal research and analysis and writing. So now I'll try very hard to keep my schedule uncomplicated so that I'm able to come live with you when I say that I'm going to, but homework takes precedence. So let's put this guy aside. Last night was supposed to be Technique Tuesday, y'all, and I am coming to you live. We were going to talk about the spotlight technique, but of course, everything that you see that I work with here today, if there's something that you like, please don't hesitate to shop using the host code. It's in the upper left of my screen. I'm not sure where you'll see it, but it's in the upper left of my screen. Anything for a shop for $149 or less, use the host code. If you're going to shop for $150 or more, contact me and I will help you get the best host rewards that you can. The other thing is, guys, if you're going to spend $150, let me tell you about the best deal that I have to offer you, okay? And that is to get the discount. Just saying. All right, so we are focusing on the spotlight technique. And before I forget, you guys, thank you for joining me tonight. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on into the craft room and let's get crack-a-lackin'. All right, so for techniques, and if you're been here before and you like the projects that we create, just give a thumbs up. Little likes, little loves never hurts anybody, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the support. We are focusing on the spotlight technique tonight. Now, there's so many different ways that you can do a spotlight technique. I'm going to share with you about maybe two ways that you can do a spotlight technique, and then one of the ways I'm going to show you how to do it with designer series paper, and then the other way I'm going to show you to you is how to do so when you create your own image. Okay, so that's what that's all about tonight. And you guys, let's get started, because let me tell you, we got a lot to unpack. All right, so the colors I'm going to use, colors are all over the place today. I am just playing, I'm pulling, and we'll see what happens as far as color is concerned. And I'm going to be using my Stamparatus. Of course, we don't sell a Stamparatus anymore, but you might want to use a Stampin' platform. Not necessary, but you might want to use one. I am going to be using from the annual catalog, I'm going to be using the Dainty Delight stamp set. I'm also going to be using from the mini catalog, the Doggone Friendly. I'm going to be using lots of different colors. So let's just get started. So I'm going to start with the one that I think is probably going to be the most simple and easiest color project to work with. So that project for me, excuse me, would be the doggone friendly. So I've already positioned the stamp, and it is a cling mount stamp in the Stamparatus, okay? And I've trimmed a piece of cardstock. I believe this was 4 by 5 1/4. And I had this, where did I line this up? Yeah. So I had this already positioned, and I should have left it alone right there. And it kind of really doesn't matter. Okay, that's perfect. And so I'm going to go in and I'm going to color with my, looking for my black VersaFine. For those of you that don't know, I do like Memento, but I do work mostly with VersaFine Clear ink. It is my preferred ink. So let's get inking up our stamps. Have you worked with the spotlight technique before? I love this technique. I use this technique. Now, I don't normally use this one in terms of, you know, having to color. I tend to do the one mostly with designer paper. Let me make sure I remember where I'm putting this. I'm going to go in with my little Chucky tool here. Add a little bit of pressure. Now, one of the things that, let me tell you what I decided on this stamp set and positioning my cardstock is I had one of the dogs image that I kind of wanted to make sure that I focused on. And so I wanted to make sure that I captured that dog on my cardstock, okay? I need to add a little bit more ink. That one's going to be around here. Perfect. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So my dog is and I'm going to leave the stamp set on. My dog, Maxie, she is I don't even know what to call her. She's like a Dachshund Lasso mix. But she's definitely a mixed breed dog. Oh, wait, and so what I want to make sure, I knew I had an image of a dog in here that doesn't look exactly like her. Oh, I can see where it is at. Not exactly like her, but I thought it was close enough to her that I would focus on her. Okay. Now, because of the medium that this is, I'm going to add I'm going to heat emboss this with clear ink. And I'm heat embossing it because when I start to color it, I want to make sure, where's my spoon? Here we go. That the ink, VersaFine is a slow drying ink. So while I can do, I can color it and so on, the chances of the ink kind of, what do you call that thing? I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. But the ink not being dry enough is kind of great. So I'm going to make sure that I heat emboss it to heat set. Now, if I didn't want to emboss it, I could just heat set it just to make sure that the ink was completely dry. Okay. I like heat embossing anyway. You let that warm up. Now what I have going on that you guys more than likely can't see is I got my little heating pad going here. It is cold. And I don't like to be cold at all. Can you see the ink and the embossing powder drying? It's just a little bit more shiny. So that's how you can tell when your embossing powder is setting. You'll see where it gets from a dull. Can you see how it's changing? Okay. The one thing is a tip with using your heat tool is you want to make sure that you don't kind of keep the heat set or the tool in one position. You kind of want to pass it back and forth, maybe not such big strokes, but you want to kind of pass it around, because if you keep the heat focused in one spot, you have the tendency potentially to burn your powder, and you don't want to do that. Alright, I think we're almost good here. Yeah, almost good. Alright. So with this technique, one of the things that you're going to do is we're going to color. We're going to pick a spot, whichever image we're going to focus on, and we're just going to color that, okay? Now, I really can't see y'all. So we're going to make this work just a little bit. Of all the images, this looks like my my Zoe looked, but that's not the image that I'm looking for. So I want something that's kind of more towards the top. This kind of looks like her. But I'm going to go with this dog right here. So I'm going to color her. And Maxie is white with black spots, but I want to have a little bit of color. So I am going to go with, let's do some pebbled path here. She's got a little bow, and I'm going to need a little pink for her tongue. So I'm going to pull out the bubble bath. And that's going to be her tongue. It's hanging out of the mouth. And then I'm just going to color her. Now, this is going to be quick because I really just want to spotlight this dog. Okay? So, I'm going to start with my dark. I tend to start with my darkest shade. And I am just going to add color where the designer has already given me those marks. Okay. I don't want to color her in. Oh, wait, I missed something. That's it. That's the thing about not having my glasses, y'all. I'm probably going to miss things. So don't hold that against me, okay? Then I'm going to go in with my light pebbled path. And I just want to blend it out just a little bit. I don't want her to be Okay. Just want you to be able to see that there's a little bit of color on her. Okay. How is that spotlighting her, Caron? Well, we're going to go with our color lifter. Or colorless blender. And we're just going to blend that out just a tad. Do you guys use your colorless blender when you're coloring at all? It's another way of blending and shading without really adding too much color. So because of the way I'm coloring this and using the colorless blender, her coat will look it won't look like the white of cardstock. It'll kind of take on a little bit of a grayish tint. Now she's got a pretty bow in her hair. So what am I gonna do for her bow? Let's go with a little moody mauve. Mauve. So can you see the coloring? Oh, can you see that? Let me adjust the light just a little bit. Can you see the coloring? All right, turn the lights back on. So I'm gonna give her a little bit of a bow. And again, I just want to add just a little bit of color. Okay, now I want to put a little pink in her ears so you can see the pink. And a little bit of pink in her cheeks. That's it. Okay, now the other thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blend over it just a little bit. This is my boho blue. And I'm just gonna lightly add a little bit of blue around her. So already in the coloring, I'm spotlighting her. Okay, and that's it, you guys. Then, this is the fun part. Okay, this is method to spotlighting. Now, I'm gonna grab a punch. Trying to find one of my smaller punches. Because I don't want to take that big of a chunk out of it. Let me see if I can find, I see my 2.5. Let's go with a 2-inch. That might be where I want to be. Let's see. That's a little bit too big. All right, let's grab a that's too small. I know I have a 1-inch circle punch. Hold on, let me grab it. I just want to focus on the... hesitant about that. All right, let's do it. Okay. All right. So now we're going to just move forward and continue to build our card just like we would any other way. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit because right now we started at 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to trim it down because I do want to mat it. So I'm going to trim it down to about 3 3/4 by 5. Now that's another tip when you're designing. Sometimes it's better to create your card from a size that's maybe a little bit bigger than you think it's going to be and then trim it down rather than starting exactly where, say I wanted to do a 3 3/4 anyway, because I don't have any way to go up from there. It's easier to trim things down than it is to try to figure out how to make it a little bit bigger. Just as an option. All right, so we have this, and I'm going to use Pebbled Path, right? But I do want to mat this. So I'm going to find me a piece of black cardstock, basic black. I brought a couple of pieces of basic black over here. Maybe I brought one. Hope I didn't. And we're gonna mat this. So this is 3 3/4 by 5. So we're gonna make this a 1/4 inch bigger and take this to 4 by 5 1/4. Gonna go in with my liquid glue and I'm gonna mat this. Y'all, I am blind as a bat, okay? And I'm just hoping that I can see well enough. I started the video and I just didn't want to have to stop to get up to go grab them. So I am doing the best as I can to make sure things look properly for y'all tonight. Okay. Now, there's another way to spotlight, and it's called the eclipse. I think it's what it's called, eclipse technique. I'm going to share that one with you. That's not tonight, but I'm going to share that with you as well. That's another technique and another way to do that. Then I'm going to pop this guy up. Now, the thing to remember, you can mat this, but for this one, I'm going to keep it a little simple. And so when you put this back into place, you have to try to remember to make sure that everything lines up with from where you punched it out. And what do I mean by that? So we punch this guy up, see the face of this dog is lined up here. So if we kind of turned it up, things wouldn't line up. So it's important to remember when you're getting ready to put this back, I'm just wanting to spotlight this particular dog. So I made it a point, and I'm going to put everything back where it was. To step this up just a little bit, you can mat this with a piece of black, any other color, but I'm not going to mat it. I'm keeping it very simple tonight. What I am going to do, before I take the backing off, is I'm going to, I used boho blue. So I'm going to grab my boho blue Stampin' Right marker. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges. It's also going to make that pop just a little bit more. If you're watching the replay, just kind of pop in and let me know that you're watching the replay. I created an event on my Facebook page, in my business page. And so what that is if you do decide to create any one of these cards, or using a card, using any of the techniques that I'm sharing with you tonight, you can go ahead and post that in the album that I'm going to create on my Facebook page, just specifically for you to do that. Oh, okay. And then I'm going to add me a little bit of Wink of Stella, just to brighten things up a little bit, give her a little bit more sparkle and shine. And then alrighty. Then we're just going to mat this card and stamp our sentiment. Now I'm going to go back into the recesses. I love when I'm able to use some of the retired products, stuff that I had that I either didn't get to use when it was current. So I do use my retired products, you guys. But of course, always use what you have in your stash when you are creating. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I went in and I pulled out. Do you remember this one? Pampered Pets. And I'm just going to stamp, I hope your day is a real treat. Because I do hope somebody's day is a real treat. There we go. I hope your day is a real treat. Let me grab my block. Now I think what will make this sentiment pop is if I stamp it in Versamark and white embossing powder. So that's what we're going to do. As always, you guys, if you ever do need to reach me, definitely take a minute. I'm going to have my information scrolling. If you want to reach me, my email is sweetsignatures@gmail.com. My website, my Stampin' Up website is www.sweetsignatures.stampinup.net. Don't forget to check out my newsletter and my blog. Subscribe to them. We are getting ready for, don't forget, this Friday is Friday is, what are we doing on Friday? Our Kit Together. What our Kit Together is the last Friday of every month. I host a Zoom party, for lack of a better term. And with our Zoom party, you can bring out a kit. Hopefully it's a paper pumpkin, but it doesn't have to be. You have another Stampin' Up kit that you've purchased, and we get together in Zoom. I don't broadcast it, meaning it doesn't go live on Zoom or on YouTube. We just get together and stamp. It's a perk that I love to share with my customers and my viewers. Unfortunately, it's the first 100 people. Well, not 100 because it's never been 100. But I try to keep it small. That way it's a little intimate. And join us. So I will have the Zoom information on in my group on my Facebook page. If you are interested in participating, that's where you can find the link. And we get together for a couple of hours, okay? If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter or my blog. I will have the clue number 1 posted for our mystery event. Mystery stamping for us is held on the last Sunday of the month, which happens to be this Sunday. So I always post a clue on the Saturday prior. That way you'll have that amount of time to grab your supplies, do any sort of cutting, just to be ready. Choose your stamp sets, choose your ink colors, choose your embellishments, whatever you're going to use in preparation for creating the mystery card. Okay. So I'm just roughly fussy cutting my sentiment out. I did not want like an exact border. This stamp set does not have coordinating dies. And I'm just going to keep this very simple. One of the things I absolutely love about adhesive foam strips, you guys, is that I can cut it so many ways from Sunday to make it useful for what I need for it to be. Okay. All right. Now, probably gonna send this, and I just don't want this to, oh, I don't want to cover Zoe. Oh, here we go. Okay. And I'm just gonna keep it just as simple as that. So as you can see, I've spotlit just this area. Everything else is fine, but I just chose to spotlight this little dog. Okay. Gonna add the inside later on and finish this card. Now, the other process that I'm going to use, like I said, if you're using designer series paper, the designer series paper in this instance is going to do all the work. Okay. Now, I colored it in this one, and I'm probably going to color this, but I'm going to make sure that I cut my cardstock so that this flower right here, oops, let me trim this down. Can you see? So that this, the metallic in it was adding too much of a glare. So this, what I'm going to do is the same process like this. I'm going to cut this down from 6 by 6. Then I'm just going to die cut this image. I'm going to color it first. All right, let's do this because I'm already here. All right. I'm already here, so we may as well. All right. I love blue, so I'm just gonna excuse me. I have been sick, y'all. And for whatever reason, I just can't seem to get over it. Okay. Adding just a little bit of color. Okay. And then I'm gonna add it's my boho blue. I buy these by like I want to have a different one for every single color. This one was Lost Lagoon. This one is Pretty Peacock, so I'm gonna go Pretty Peacock with that one. Maybe not. Pretty Peacock is kinda, maybe Shaded Spruce. Let's do a Shaded Spruce. That's a Mossy Meadow. Excuse me. And a Shaded Spruce. And this is just how I'm choosing to add color. Now you can add color in any way that you're choosing to. You can color with your alcohol markers. You can blend. You can color with your Stampin' Up markers. However you're choosing to color. Excuse me. I'm just showing you that you can go in and color with any different mediums on this designer series paper, okay? So this is our Tahitian Tide. Okay. And then when I'm done coloring, what I would do then is I would just go right on in and I'm going to go in with the shaded spruce marker. I'm only doing that just to add Stampin' Right, just to add a little bit of shade and definition and a little bit of highlight. And I literally just follow the artist. Literally, that is what I do. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with the boho blue, but I'm going to do it with the marker. That way you can see that you can color, or the alcohol marker. That way you can see that you can color. This is the light. I want the dark. Sorry. The darker, add a little bit more highlight to it. The contrast, as you can see. You see how it looks like you're adding, and I've blended. I've used some blending brushes. I've used Stampin' Right markers, and I'm using alcohol markers. So that way you can see that you can color with just about any medium on this cardstock. And this is retired. Look at that. Do you see? All right, so then what I would do is trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm not going to do it right now. And then I would die cut this just like I did with the other. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to pop it right back up. Check my Facebook page, you guys. You'll see the finished product using this element. Now, let me clean this up. So I can get started on the final product for today. I love this method. This method is going to take a little bit of time. It's a lot of ink blending, but you are absolutely going to love this. I do. It's one of my favorite techniques as far as doing a spotlight. One of my favorites. Oh, there is a die. Okay, I told you the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. All right, so for this last one that I'm working with, we are going to use Granny Apple Green. We went to the bright. So it's Granny Apple Green, Azure Afternoon, and Daffodil Delight. These are the colors that we're going to be using today. Did I pre-cut that? I thought I did. All right, maybe I did not. All right, so I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock that is, this one is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It is a quarter panel. And so what I'm going to do is, again, this is, oh, here it is. I did cut it. I knew I did it. I was ready. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I have these masks that I'm going to use to create my focal image. Okay. Let me share with you what I'm going to do with this. Okay. Don't want to lose any of that. So before I do anything else, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece of, here we go. This is my Scotch wall safe tape. And I'm going to just de-stickify it just a little bit. Then I'm going to position this where I need this to be. Okay. Making sure it's even. Then I'm going to kind of tape it down. Again with the repositionable tape. If you have masking tape, you can use that. If you got the mint tape, you could use that. Painter's tape, you can use that. You use any kind of tape that you want to use to to print this, to hold this down. Now, you're gonna have to think about how your colors are gonna lay out. Now, I know I'm gonna stamp a floral image, but I kind of want a general sky background, right? So green is kind of like the earth. My yellow is kind of like my mid-tone, and then for me, the blue is the sky. So that's kind of like the order. That's how I know I want to use my colors, but I generally will always start with my lightest shade of ink. So let's start with the Daffodil Delight. I didn't take out my brushes. This is where I keep my blending brushes. It's just easier for me to have one for every color. It's not necessary, but it really is just easier for me to do it that way. Okay, where's my yellow? I must have had my yellow somewhere. I must have a yellow somewhere that I used. Well, here's my green, so I'm going to need that. Ah, told you I had my yellows. Okay, so now I'm going to, because I want my sky to be kind of like in the center, but you have to remember too, when you're blending with these colors, and be very careful. I believe yellow and green kind of makes orange. So when you're blending, if you're not looking for orange, then, okay. So I'm gonna have my yellow in the middle. Okay. Now, this mask, you can create a mask similar to this. If you have a die, you can die cut it out of regular cardstock. If you have mylar plastic, you can cut it out of that. You have acetate, you can cut it out of that to create your mask. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with the green. Excuse me. And if you kind of want to take a look, you can see a little bit. I think green, oh my gosh, I don't remember the green and yellow makes something. So again, before I mix them into the color, I'm going to make sure I have a good base of my green and be very careful about the color that I'm going to create when I take the green into the yellow. Okay. And as always, you can go as dark as you'd like, but it's always easier to start lighter than it is and add more color as you need it than to not. All right, and then the last color we're gonna add is our Azure Afternoon, which is our blue. And again, we're just gonna add this towards the top and then blend lightly into the yellow. And that's just a tip for you guys. Start with your lightest shade and then add your other colors gradually. And then all I'm going to do now is just take my yellow and kind of run right back over all of it to get a smooth blend. Okay? Okay. And that's it. All right. Isn't that a beautiful background as it is? So now the stamp set that I chose, if I can remember where it is I have wanted to play with this Feathered Flight. This is one of our online exclusives. You cannot find this in any catalog. This is strictly in the online exclusives. And I've been wanting to play with this. So now when I thought about this technique, I said, oh, I've got to use this. Not sure which one of the bird images I want to use. And you can see I did not prepare. I said I wanted to use it, but I did not prepare it. Now, can you stamp without putting on the sticker? Absolutely. Can Caron stamp without putting on the sticker? Probably not. I literally probably could not. A lot of it for me, again, is because I'm finding as I get a little bit older, my depth perception is way off. So I'm not able to see clearly what it is or where it's positioned. So I have to have the stickers. I really, really do. And God help me if I put them on in the wrong direction, right? So we can have our bird like this. Maybe a little bit more up like that, right? What do you think? That's one option. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have that one kind of like in the middle. trying to make sure that I ink this up very well. Okay. Look at that. And I'm going to add some embossing powder to it. I emboss just about everything, y'all. I keep telling y'all this. Embossing just adds a little bit more texture. It's a way of adding a little bit of shine to things. You see the shine coming through already on the bird? Isn't she beautiful? Look at her. Yes. All right. So this is it, you guys. Excuse me. Now, I need a sentiment. And then this guy, look at how this is done already. So I'm going to use... I'm going to use I'm Glad You're in My Life. Trying to think who I'd send it to. I really am trying to think who I'm going to send it to. Y'all, when I get off with you tonight, I still have to go do a little bit of homework. I gotta get some of it in tonight. Okay, I'm just gonna do thinking of you. That's all. I don't even know why I took that out of that. Okay. So we know that goes that way. I tend to keep it in when I'm adding my stickers. I keep it in the cling that it's in because it's just easier. But I took it out ahead of time. I'm not sure why I did that, but I did. It's all good. And now I'm just going to stamp my sentiment on here. And I've specifically kept these cards very simple tonight because I just really wanted to spotlight the techniques, not necessarily so much creating the card from it, but the actual technique. Okay, this is blending, but you created just a spotlight for the element that you're really wanting to highlight, and that's all that the spotlight technique is about. Okay, let's see. let's just stick with trying to remember when I kind of roughly thought this through today. I had this on a Starry Sky card base. And most of the time when I'm thinking about ink colors, I like things to kind of coordinate just a little bit. So now I'm thinking, do I want to do a blue set, my sentiment in blue, just a standard black? And I think I want to just do, I want to keep it blue. So I'm going to, I think blueberry, let's see. And I'm just going to kind of try to make sure to see if I have it lined up properly. Okay, there you go. Make sure my cardstock is straight. And I'm thinking of you. That's it. There are other things you can do to take this card up a notch. I'm really not doing that. Again, the sole purpose for the cards tonight is to show you the technique, not so much to create a card with you, although we did create these cards, but it is really just to show you the technique. Okay. And I'm going to double heat emboss my sentiment. Okay. And there we go. Y'all, this card is pretty much done, except for some bling, which I'm going to add. I would normally matte as well, but I'm not going to matte this one. Again, I think just having the start going from white straight onto the Starry Sky will be such a beautiful contrast that that's exactly what I'm going to do. I really don't precision cut my mat at all, my foam strip. I could, but I choose not to do that. Don't forget to join me tomorrow evening. And we are going to create using the Be Mine suite, trying to get a couple of Valentine's cards finished and ready. And guys, look at how simple and how beautiful this card is. I'm going to add some embellishments on here, probably some clear rhinestones, and finish my card off. But there we go, you guys. I've shown you a couple of different ways to get a spotlight technique. I'm going to put this one back in the thing. So now I moved my card and I don't know where the first one is. Here we go. So I showed you a spotlight technique using a stamp, and I punched out the circle after I colored, and I just added a sentiment. I showed it to you using a little bit of masking, heat emboss, and I'm spotlighting this bird. And then I'm gonna post in my Facebook group the finished card as I showed you, showing you how I spotlit this card. Okay, you guys, this is what I got for you today. If you sorry, I got a little distracted there. So if you see, again, if you see any of the products that like any of the products that I used in the projects tonight, hop on over to my store, online store at www.sweetsignatures.stampinup.net. And don't forget to use the host code. You can see the host code listed in the upper left-hand corner. You guys, now is the time to join Stampin' Up! In the midst of celebration. For every $50 that you spend in Stampin' Up! From now through the end of February, you have the opportunity to earn a free item from the Celebration mini catalog. And again, it's for every $50 purchase that you make. You guys, thanks for spending some time with me this evening. I hope you really enjoyed these cards. Don't forget to pop on over to my Facebook page to take a look at them in person that you can see. And I hope to see you tomorrow, Friday, for Kit Together, or on Sunday when we do mystery stamping. All right, guys, on that note, thanks for joining me this evening, and have a happy stamping day. Oh my gosh, I must be tired. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye. Good night.